What's going on, guys? Mavro here with another F1 video, and today we're going to be playing F1 2021, the official video game. Now guys, this has been a long time coming and I've really enjoyed recording this, and I just actually got the video game not too long ago, and so this is pretty much as fresh as I can react to it. And so I really hope that you guys enjoy this as much as I did recording it, and I hope you guys enjoy the adventure that is Formula One. And without further ado, let's do this, guys. So the first thing that I noticed immediately while this was loading was just the background. It's this nice, cleaner design. It wasn't as busy. Don't get me wrong, the 2020 and 2019 backgrounds was really nice, but it was that dark charcoal gray, so to have something different every once in a while is really nice. We got like single player and dual player career mode. We should really check out the dual player later. We got Breaking Point, which is actually about a F1 rookie who just took his first steps into F1, and he's got an older teammate called Casper Akkerman and a rival, Devin Butler. Yes, Devin Butler is back. If you guys have played F1 2019, you'll remember him from that game. In the multiplayer, we got social and ranked play, leagues, weekly event, the F1 esports page, and then we got customization with car liveries, the closing, those sort of details. And then the car show room, we've got the F1 21 cars, the F2 2020 and 21 cars, and player cars. So maybe I'll make a video just showing off all of those different cars. But guys, for now, I really want to play Breaking Point and share that with you guys first, because that was the biggest thing about this game, was that trailer that came out that was really discreet, yet it was really dramatic. Now, when it comes to difficulty, I decided to go with challenging because it's about middle of the road, and I just wanted to do it just to be able to have a bit of a challenge, but also to be able to complete all the objectives. Now, the race team, if you really noticed on the cover, I believe it was Casper Akkerman, the older driver. He was wearing AlphaTauri racing suit, but I want to do something different. Some people do Aston Martin, others do Alfa Romeo. However, I'm going to go with either Haas or Williams. I really enjoy both their drivers. Mazepin, Schumacher did really well last year compared to what their cars did, and Williams as well did really well, especially George Russell getting in Q3 several times. So I'm going to go, in my personal opinion, I like Williams, so I'm going to go with them, and let's get started. Now, with the 2019 F2 Championship coming down to the final race of the season, young British driver Aiden Jackson is looking to etch his name in the history books. Abu Dhabi, final race of the F1 2019 season.
An incredible race! Look at it! Every driver is being so aggressive! Check it out!
They'll all be feeling the pressure right now. None more so than young Aiden Jackson from Carlin.
That's right. Rumors from the paddock talk about a possible future for Jackson in Formula One. And with only a few laps to go, this is still anyone's race.
The atmosphere here is electric, and we couldn't have asked for a better finish to the F2 season here in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, Aiden, you're doing great. Keep focused. You know what to do.
Copy that.
Now, I really enjoyed when I was recording this, all the little cutscenes that they had. It made it very much like any other gameplay walkthrough. It made it much like a movie. We had a slap oversteer there after going after Sete Kamada. And, yeah, those cutscenes just made it it just made everything make more sense. Versus if I was just playing it, having to make up a story in my mind. It was very nice to have these cutscenes, and the actors, they actually did very well putting in, it's voice actors, and they made they took pride in their work. It was very nice to see. And coming down this backstretch, we finally set up Sete Kamada, and we've got DRS right now as we start to get a little bit closer to Sergio here. And he starts to go slightly defensive right there. Not too much, he's just sitting right in the middle of the road, and we'll take the outside line to have the racing line into the chicane. By the time we hit the braking zone, we're already ahead of him. That was some really good DRS. Now we're up to Lagunathan, who's a lap back marker. So hopefully he'll get out of the way. But because we are close to him, we actually got DRS. So now we'll have a little bit more advantage against Nicholas Latifi, who's ahead of us. So that's what we're going after for P2. Now, guys, the objective here is to finish first to win the F2 championship. Anything less and we're not winning. So it's pretty much like Ricky Bobby says, if you're not first, you're last. So let's go after him and let's get P1 from Luca Giotto. So first we have to get past Nicholas Latifi. So coming into the hotel complex, just lifting slightly. So once we hit the brakes, we don't hit him because as you can see, we got really, really close to him, almost had contact. Now we're just going to sit behind him for a little bit. But through the next couple of corners, just waiting for the opportunity to overtake him or rise. Now I'm thinking about going around the outside of this corner, but he moves over. So we're going to go down the inside. But then he's still on the outside of the corner. He carried a lot of speed through there. So now we're going to get him in the final corner. And now we'll be able to pull away and go get Luca Giotto after putting in the fastest lap as well. And then we'll go after Luca Giotto. Going through here, not as much oversteer as before. So we're starting to learn. And then just having to go after Luca. We won't catch him until slightly later into the lap. But it's still like the gap closes down from 2.3 down to 1.4 within a couple of corners. So we're going much faster than him through the S's. That's turns 2 and 3. Coming to turn 6 it is now. Finally into the detection point, about 9/10 behind him. So we'll be able to get DRS. Hopefully we can get him down this straight. If we don't get him down this straight, we will get him down that straight. DRS activated as we hold down the straightaway. Starting to close the gap, not just a little bit, not too much. It's starting to gradually close down. And then finally into the brake zone, we really closed down that gap. It's now about 0.2, 0.3 seconds behind him, about 3/4. And now coming out here, we need to get a really good drive to get on him. And we really do, because now we start to pull in before DRS. It looked like we even had ERS. And as you guys know, F2 cars do not have ERS. Breeze past Luca Giotto. That was probably the simplest move that we will have through braking point. And job done. Now for the rest of this lap and the next lap, there wasn't much happening. Luca didn't really come back at us. We just, through consistency, we pulled away from him. So now getting closer to the end of the last lap, we ended up getting close to the back markers, but we didn't quite catch him. You can see them going through the last corner right now. But ladies and gentlemen, we will come across the line to win the race and win that F2 championship.
Fantastic work, Aiden. Great drive, mate. Congratulations.
Yes! Come on! And he's done it. Jackson's done it. Aiden Jackson wins the F2 championship.
What a win for Jackson! What a win!
And it couldn't have gone to a better driver. A magnificent result. He's already been vocal about his dreams of one day driving for Mercedes in Formula One. Let's just hope the right people are watching today. And here he is, the man of the moment, Aiden Jackson.
An amazing race and a fantastic win for this incredible driver.
Indeed. After this, I guarantee that Jackson will be the hot topic in more than a few upcoming F1 team meetings. The future's definitely bright for this young driver.
So that was actually really easy, a lot easier than I expected. So I may have to go back and do it again later. But having won the F2 Drivers' Championship, Aiden Jackson has now secured a seat in Formula One and is preparing to take his first steps into the world's most prestigious motorsport series, Australian Grand Prix, several months later.
Aiden, now you've made the leap to Formula One, no surprise to anyone who's been watching your career. How does it feel to be on the verge of getting behind the wheel for your first race?
To be honest with you, Will, it hasn't really quite sunk in yet. The team has given me a fantastic opportunity. It's a once-in-a-lifetime, a dream come true. So, to answer your question, I feel like a little kid. I look around and I'm surrounded by my heroes, you know? I've even had to pinch myself a couple of times. So, yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming. But out on the track, the speed, the noise, even the smell, it's all the same. I just hope my driving is too.
And what about Casper Akkerman? Are you intimidated at all having such a seasoned and experienced driver as your first teammate in Formula One. How's that relationship coming along?
I've always looked up to Casper as someone to aspire to. Growing up as a kid, his pictures were all over my bedroom walls, you know? The dream was always to be Casper. But, as it turns out, I'll be racing alongside Casper, which is good enough for me. I get to learn from the best. Besides, every legend has to start somewhere, right?
Aiden, just wondering if we can get your reaction to the obvious comparisons that are being made between you and another F1 driver. Much like you, he made the transition from F2 to F1 last season. What do you say to the press here, and to your fans, who are calling you the new Devon Butler?
The new Devon Butler. I'm alright with that. Does that mean we can lose the old one?
You come over well. They like you. I don't know what you were worried about.
Thanks.
You know, everything's going to be fine out there today. I just know it. Just do what you did in F2. Easy.
Thanks, Brian. I won't let you down. Come on, Aiden. You've got this.
The new Devon Butler. I'm not sure about that one. For those of you who played F1 2019, you may remember Devon Butler, our F2 rival, who ended up going over to F1 along with us. And he wasn't the most sportsman driver, he was more of a showman, and he had the tendency of driving dirty. He always had incidents with us, like 3 or 4 in F2. But you have a call from Brian.
Hello?
Aiden, are you in your room?
Oh, hey Brian. Yeah, I'm in my room.
Good. Well, have a look around. I hope you like it. Should be everything you need in there. News feeds, social media. It's hooked up to the lot. Just do me a favour, eh?
Go on.
Make sure you check your emails. I think there's a message in there for you.
Oh, right. Thanks, Brian.
Take a breather, do what you need to do, and I'll see you before the race.
Nice one.
So just a short little phone call from Brian. Just a little tutorial of our little lobby, and just a couple of reassuring words before the race, just to calm those pre-race nerves. And we've actually got a call from Aiden's mom. This should be very interesting, so let's have a listen.
Hello?
Hello, love. How's it going?
All right, Ma. Yeah, it's going all right. Just getting ready.
I saw your interview.
And?
You need a haircut.
All right. Well, thanks, I guess.
But aside from that, you were great. I'm so proud of you, Aiden.
I know, Ma. Thanks.
I wish I could be out there with you. This is everything you've worked towards.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be at the next one.
Just do what you do, and everything will be great.
Thanks, Ma.
And remember, mirror signal maneuver. And always stick to the speed limit.
Great advice. I'm all over it.
I know you are, love. I'll speak to you later. Good luck.
Bye.
So that was a nice conversation between Aiden and his mom. Just a little bit of reassurance like Brian was doing earlier, and then a couple of jokes here and there just to calm those little pre-race nerves that most drivers get. But let's jump into this race and see what we can do. I really hope to see more of Aiden's mom, maybe in cutscenes. If she's not in the cutscenes, at least hear from her. But with the world watching and expectations high at Williams, F1 rookie Aiden Jackson appears to be holding his own in his maiden race in Melbourne. With the possibility of a points finish, he keeps focused on the race in front of him, Australian Grand Prix, mid-race. Now, let's see what we can do here, guys. Let's see how far up we can move and get as many points as possible, especially for a Williams that's unexpected. So let's do this.
A solid start, Aiden. Let's try and push it further.
Copy that. Where's Casper?
He's up ahead. Let's try and bring you two closer together.
Alright guys, so we are currently P14 out of 20, so they put us a little bit outside of the points, and the objective here is to actually catch Casper Akkerman, who's in 10th right now. So we got about 4 positions to make up, but we can catch him up really quickly, I hope. We're going after Daniel Ricciardo right now. It's Ricciardo's home race, but he's running P13. And not really unexpected for the Renault that year. It was actually right around there. They would be bottom portion of the points, maybe just outside the point. But going down Lakeside Boulevard, hopefully we were close enough to him to get DRS down the next straightaway after the quick left-right chicane that Melvin is so well known for. And yes, we will have it. Look at the run we're already getting without DRS. Now we have DRS going down the inside, but he's still sitting right next to us. He's right there, so we're going to have to really use the brakes. Getting really heavy on the brakes. We did a Daniel Ricciardo on Daniel Ricciardo with that dive bomb. Now going after Kevin Magnussen, he's not too far ahead. Maybe we'll get DRS through the detection point, but I believe we're a little too far back for that. The detection point was way back in the brake zone of that previous corner. But going down the straightaway, we'll use a little bit of battery deployment just to get a good run on him. And then he's still sitting next to us, so we're going to have to really use the brakes here, but a tricky braking zone because you really need to be to the left side to take that corner to not mess it up, but seem to be going through there okay. Now going after Devin Butler, the man himself, our old F2 rival from F1 2019, our old F1 rival from F1 2019. He is now our F1 rival here. So this should be very interesting. I wonder how much he has to play within the story. Heavy braking in here, closing down that gap as much as possible. We may be able to get him in the next couple of chicanes. We don't know. We're going to have to really trying to get that slipstream, trying to be as close as possible. And here we go. Down the inside we go. But he's still hanging around the outside, still carrying some speed. So we give him just a little bit of space, but trying to get the better drive out of the corner. And we do. So job done. Now we're going after Casper Akkerman, our teammate, the older driver, the one who's very similar to Kimi Räikkönen in this instance, who seems to be a more seasoned veteran. I'm not sure how old he is. I'm not sure if he's even won any championships, but in theory, he's very much like Kimi Räikkönen. He's a seasoned veteran, maybe like Fernando Alonso. Who knows how long he's even been there? They don't really mention much about him. So closing the gap up to Casper, we're about, I'd say about a second and a half behind. Yeah, roughly about a second and a half, and we're closing up the gap to him. I don't know what we have to do. I don't know if we just need to catch him or if we actually have to pass him. But I'm going to go and try and pass him anyways. Just do my best to catch up to our veteran teammate and show him what the rookie has in relation to the veteran driver.
What a brilliant Australian Grand Prix this has been, but there's still plenty of time for more drama.
There certainly is, Crofty, and these two have been fighting each other incredibly hard so far. They don't want to go tripping over each other, though, because Devin Butler is coming up from behind. He's on the attack, too.
Aiden, Casper's not your priority. We need you to defend.
It's okay. I've got this.
Here comes Butler. 3 abreast going into turn 11. Oh, this can't work, and it doesn't. Ackerman's off onto the verge of what looks like damage as well.
Is he okay? Is Casper okay?
He'll be fine. He's heading for the pits now. You just concentrate on the race.
And there we have it. I'm sure there's going to be fireworks in the Williams garage tonight.
There will be, Crofty, for sure. Look, it was a late move from Devin Butler, but you never want to see two teammates make contact, and Ackerman will surely be seething at that one.
Absolutely. And I tell you who else isn't going to be happy too. Aiden Jackson. Not how his F1 race debut should have gone.
The damage appears to be minor. How's it feeling, Aiden?
Yeah, car's okay.
Understood. See how well you can do out there.
Copy.
So I agree with David Croft. That's not really how you want a race weekend to start, and especially like Davidson said, you don't want to collide with your teammate. But coming up on Butler, finally caught up to him. Down the inside we will go, and this time we're not showing him any mercy. We are just going to push him all the way wide. He caused that collision, in my opinion. He shouldn't have been there, and we're just going to we're just not going to give him any track. We're just going to push him all the way wide right now. And now going after Lando Norris. We did not catch him until the next lap, and we're going to try and put the exact same move that we did on Devin Butler. We're going to try doing it on Norris, but we seem a little too far back. We're going to try it anyway down the inside, but he's still on the outside, so we give him space. And now we're just neck and neck going down Lakeside Boulevard into that fast, quick left, right chicane. So he had the better speed, so we have to tuck in behind him. We will get DRS since we are behind Lando. We'll get the DRS instead of him. So we get the DRS, going down which way we're going to go, left, right. We're going to have to take the outside line. He goes very defensive, taking that outside line, heavy braking, but he's still there, so we have to give him a little bit of space. But finally, we had the better drive out of the corner, so job done. Now we have to go after Alex Albon. Now, we didn't catch Alex until a couple laps later, going very, very deep on those brakes. Very wide in that corner. Hopefully Lando doesn't get too much of a draft on us and we could just pull away. But again, we just could not catch Albon until about 1 to 2 laps later. I believe it was lap 13. Yes, at near the end of lap 13, we finally caught Alex Albon. And he's actually having a battle with Pierre Gasly. So maybe we can do 2 for 1 here and get them both. Maybe in one corner, maybe in 2 corners. But we're going to do our best to try. Very heavy on the braking in the penultimate corner. Coming out of the last corner, trying to get that better drive out of that corner. We do, but we also get DRS going down this straightaway. He goes slightly defensive about mid-track. He goes about a third of the way over, and we start to push him slightly back toward the line and widen out that corner. He's still on the outside, so we give him a little bit of space, not too much. We have the better drive out of the corner. Now going after Pierre Gasly, we will catch him as soon as possible. Try and go up the road and go get Charles Leclerc, perhaps. Very heavy into that braking zone. Trying to close up the gap as much as possible. Carrying as much speed as we possibly can. Getting as aggressive as we can. Just trying to get as much drive out of the corners as we can. We may try and get him right here, but we are way too far back. So we're going to have to sit back and enjoy the show just a little bit longer. To be honest, I need to go get my popcorn here. Closing the gap as much as we can on the Lakeside Boulevard. We should get DRS on the next straightaway, so we'll try and keep the gap as close as possible to Pierre so we can actually get that DRS. And we are trying to keep it close. Yes, we are actually close enough. We have about 5/10 to Pierre, so we will get DRS down this straightaway. DRS open now. Starting to close the gap a little bit. Just a little. Now we're going to try and go down the inside. Heavy braking. Dive bomb on him. And he's still on the outside, so we got to give him as much space as possible so we don't get a penalty. We will get him into this corner, but he's still there. But he finally backed out. He realized it was probably a little bit wiser not be there. Now we will make our way after Charles Leclerc and try our best to catch him. We've got 5 seconds to get to him in 1 lap, so we won't be able to do that. We could only close about 2 seconds. But all in all, given the shocker that was that collision, recovering to P7 is a pretty solid result, and to be honest, I couldn't be happier.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Albert Park. What a start to the season this has been. A fascinating race here in Australia, Ant.
The top teams as ever continue to push the boundaries of the sport, and it will be interesting to see how the new Williams driver Aiden Jackson settles in, especially after that early incident involving his teammate.
Well, we've certainly seen rivalries born from less. Suffice to say, if you came into the 2020 season hoping for a bit of drama, it looks like you won't be disappointed. And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So that was quite the interesting race. I didn't expect having a collision with the teammates. Yeah, that's something I learned back when I was playing F1 2010. That's something you don't want to do. An awkward incident involving Devin Butler and his own teammate, Casper Akkerman, marred Jackson's maiden outing in F1.
Casper, listen, I don't know what happened out there. It wasn't my fault.
Well, whose fault was it then?
Who was the idiot behind the wheel of your car? Hmm? You're pathetic. You won't even admit when you made a mistake. How did they ever sign you?
Oh, Butler. Devon, I didn't see that.
What, like, out on the track today? You nearly took me out, mate.
Look, I don't know what happened. You cut in, I swerved. Next thing I knew, Casper was out.
Whoa. Mate, I was nothing to do with it. Whatever that was all on you. Don't be trying to pass the blame, because you haven't settled in yet.
Sorry, Aiden. Just bear with us one sec.
No problem.
I think that's really just a case of rookie driver, rookie mistakes. These cars are a bit different from what Aiden's used to in F2.
You seem to find your feet quite quickly after you graduated from Formula 2. What advice would you give to Jackson in his first season?
Well, stay out of my way, mostly. And taking out your own teammate isn't something I would make a habit of.
Almost ready, Aiden. We're just checking audio levels.
Sure.
Seriously, Casper must be wondering what on earth Williams were thinking.
That's great. Thanks, Devon.
Yeah.
Okay, Aiden. Let's talk about that incident with your teammate.
So we had our little run-in with both Akkerman and Butler, and to be honest, I'm beginning to wonder if we should tell Akkerman exactly who was driving, but I don't think we would refer to ourselves as an idiot. We just weren't, and Brian's calling.
Brian?
Talk to me. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, what happened out there today? I had it all under control and then...
Look, let's not go through all that now. We'll talk about it at the debrief.
Right, yeah.
I was actually talking about your little run-in with Casper and Butler over in the paddock.
Oh, wow. News travels fast.
The paddock talks, Aiden. Besides, I've got ears like a hawk. Listen, Butler's a clown. The man's ego is bigger than a... No, I've got nothing. Don't give it a second thought.
Thanks, Brian.
But Casper? Yes, he can get a little hot-headed, especially after a race. But you have got to work with him. That maneuver today...
Wasn't my fault, Brian.
It probably cost us points. I'll level with you. A lot of people on the team are disappointed, Aiden. And I'll be saying as much to Casper. Now, learn from it and move on. But you can't let it happen again. I'll see you at the debrief.
So just a short little conversation with Brian there. He was just telling us, hey, it's okay, just don't do that again. Don't hit your teammate. And that's something that I totally agree with. I learned my lesson a long time ago. But after our little run-in with Casper, we ran into Devon, and he seemed to start playing mind games. He took all the blame, going, hey, it's not my fault. You're the rookie here. And he's honestly making Aiden feel guilty about it. But guys, let's jump into the next chapter and see what we can do at the next race. The world of motorsports moves fast, with focus quickly shifting to the Chinese Grand Prix. Aiden Jackson and Williams are eager to find form heading into the fourth race of the 2020 season, the Chinese Grand Prix 1 month later. So we actually jumped past Bahrain, and I believe in 2020 it would have been Vietnam. But yeah, guys, let's see what we can do in this race. Let's try and recover some points.
It's the Chinese Grand Prix here in Shanghai, and this track fast becoming a rookie's favourite. Alex Albon, remember him from last year? A brilliant race in his debut season, and it looks like Aiden Jackson's continuing the trend.
He really is, Croft. He's showing great promise so far this season.
Well, here's Akkerman now, going up behind his young teammate.
The rumour in the paddock, Crofty, is that the tension's building between these two. Let's see what happens here.
Here we go, Ackerman's going for it! Down the inside of the hairpin, he's barged his teammate off the track!
What are you doing? Casper, what the hell?
Looks like Jackson's really struggling to get over that.
Okay, Aiden, keep it focused. Concentrate.
That brush with his teammate clearly affecting the young driver.
It looks like it has, Crofty. I can't see any significant damage to that car, so he's going to have to pull himself back into this race.
Car's looking okay, Aiden. See if you can recover a few places.
What was that all about?
You can recover, Aiden.
That's not okay. That's really not okay.
The gap behind us is 3.6 seconds.
So that was a really hard hit from Casper Akkerman. I genuinely don't know what was in his mind. It's already 2-3 races later. To be honest, I kind of saw him doing it in Bahrain, but I wouldn't see him doing it in China. That was just more of a jerk move. But coming up on Norris, we're going to take to the outside, take that racing line, and by the time we hit the brake zone, we're already ahead of him. But we go slightly wide, so he may have a chance to get a run back on us. And now, after disposing of Lando Norris, we're going to go after Esteban Ocon. So then we're going to have to try and close the gap as much as possible. I actually like this track as much as anybody else. So you can see that we put in the fastest lap of the race. But the first braking zone, it's always tricky for me. It's always having a trail brake in the corner, but then knowing when to pop off the brakes. But we finally were able to catch up to Esteban Ocon into what seems to be our favorite corner. This is going to be 2 for 2 on overtakes, and we just finally bulleted it away. But he starts to come back at us. But as soon as we get the DRS, we put a little bit of battery deployment, and we just took off. It was like the difference between a Cessna and a fighter jet. He just became a speck of dust. And now we go after Carlos Sainz, but we do have Kevin Magnussen in between the two of us. So hopefully we can get past Magnussen, and who knows, maybe we'll even get DRS because we're close enough to Magnussen. But I don't believe we're close enough. But he will get out of the way, so I'm going to try and pick up as much of a draft as I possibly can before jumping out, and so he can fall back. And then again, coming into this braking zone, learning to find that braking point, which I seem to start to learn. I'm starting to learn where it is and starting to do a little bit better, trying to close the gap up to Carlos as much as possible, so maybe we can get him into the next couple of corners. Maybe we can go around the outside and turn 5 or 6. Let's see what we can do here, but trying to make up as much time in this heavy braking zone right here, trying to get the good drive out of this hairpin, but we won't catch him until, guess what, our favorite corner. This is going to be 3 for 3 that we really set it up. We're trying to get past him right here, but we can't because he's coming back at us. You can see his front wing in the front left, in the top left corner. But finally, with the DRS, since we were behind him, we're starting to pull a little bit away. But I don't want to use the battery to save that for later because we may have to use it. But now, job done. Using the braking zone, got past him, and now we're going after Casper Akkerman, who is just up the road from us. He's only about a second away from us, so maybe we can get him right here and right now. But to be honest, I have no clue what Casper was doing, being it's so far later. It's like a month later. I really don't know why Casper would come hit us that way, especially into that corner. It's just one of those, he could have taken us both out of the race, and I don't think that was very mature for the veteran driver at all. But trying to get a very good drive out of turn 3, going through turn 4, or into turn 4, we're going to try and close that gap up as much as possible, using those brakes, just abusing them, just slamming on the brakes. And side note, I actually use ABS for this very reason, to be able to get very hard on the brakes. That's the one assist that I do use, is ABS, because I really use those brakes, and if I hit the brakes hard enough, these things will lock up easy. But trying to get as much drive, going around the outside of Casper, going into turn 7, I believe it is, and just not showing him any room. We're going, Casper, here's the door, and we just push him as far out as we possibly can, but making our way after Alex Albon. He is not too far up the road. He's only about a second and a half, so let's see if we can pick up a little bit of a draft down the straightaway. But I don't think we'll be able to make the move just yet, but we'll try our best to catch up to Alex Albon as quickly as possible. Now, we don't have the DRS, as I said again, so we're going to try and use a little bit of battery pack just to give us a little bit of boost, and we're starting to close down the gap. Now you see it's about 9/10, really using those brakes, and almost made contact into that hairpin. Hopefully we didn't. If we did, I think I saw a little bit, but I'm not sure we did. But now, going into the last corner, really closing the gap, almost had contact again, getting really close to Alex. Now we're going to go under the outside, and he's going to sit defensive. He knows we're there, but closing into this corner, we've got the job done. And he decided to back out in the last second, and now we're going after Devin Butler. He's very much like the Riddler in this instance. He's using a lot of mind games from what I can see. Just from our 1 to 2 interactions that we had with him already, he's already using mind games, but we did not catch him until later on. And look at that. It's another time we're setting somebody up into this corner. This seems to be our favorite corner today, but we're finally getting better drive than Butler out of here, but he's still there. You can see him right there off in the top left corner, but we finally get DRS, so we're starting to pull away from him a little bit. And now we just got the job done way before the brake zone, and then we'll just use the brake zone to get away. And now we have to go after Daniel Kafiat, who's not too far off the road. So hopefully we can get him possibly into this next brake zone. I think we will. We will actually get the DRS right here, and we'll get the DRS down this straightaway. DRS open right now, and we're starting to close onto that gap. Another fastest lap just for good measure. And hopefully we can get Daniel maybe round the outside right in this corner. We will try our best, carrying as much speed as we possibly can, putting him more toward the apex than he would like. And finally, we got past Daniel Kafiat, and job done. Got past him. Now, our next target is Sebastian Vettel for P6, and possibly even Gasly from the look of it. They're very close to each other. Yes, they are. Fast forwarding until the last lap. We have Sebastian Vettel that we have to get past. And maybe we can even get past Pierre Gasly if we get brave enough on the brakes, even if we get past Sebastian Vettel. But the wise old head of Sebastian Vettel knows how to get good drive off that corner, so he's starting to pull away. We finally got DRS now, and I think he has DRS as well. So we're having to use a little bit of battery just to get past him. Getting heavy on the brake to get past Sebastian, really closing up that gap. And was that a little bit of contact I saw there? I'm not sure, but trying to get the better drive out of this corner, trying to really close up that gap. Going to use the brakes heavily in here, get very, very close, almost contact with him again, and get DRS right here. Trying to get past him as fast as we can, but he wins out just ahead of us. P5 on this occasion, but considering that we started P14, P6 is an amazing result, and I'm happy with that.
Well, plenty to digest there, and a little bit ominous, wouldn't you say, seeing the two Williams teammates make contact again.
Things don't look stable between these two drivers, Crofty. They've barely been teammates 5 minutes.
That wheel bump, could that have been avoided, Ant?
Yeah, it looked like Akkerman was making a bit of a statement to me. He's certainly not given Jackson any room.
A sign of things to come? Well, for their sakes, let's hope not. That wraps things up here in China. Until next time. So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Well, that was a very eventful race, I must say, with plenty of overtakes, getting to show off our skills a little bit. Following an eventful Chinese Grand Prix, tensions are on the rise at Williams as Jackson and Akkerman again made contact with one another following an aggressive overtake maneuver by the veteran. Chinese Grand Prix post-race.
Casper, what the hell was that? You nearly put me out the entire race. Bumping wheels like that, you could have put us both into the barrier. Casper. Come on, man.
I have to make a phone call.
Casper. Akkerman!
Mom! Cancel the TV subscription. The entertainment is right here.
Come off it. Do you really have nothing better to do?
Right now? No. And why would I want to miss this? You two are like characters in a badly written sitcom. He wanted your lot to sign Ricardo, you know. Ask anyone.
What do you mean?
The paddock talks, mate. And so did Akkerman. Should have heard him last season. He didn't care who he talked to, and he was always going off on one about you. He tried to stop them from signing you. Didn't want to play babysitter.
Oh, he did he?
Everyone knows. Have you not seen the way that people look at you? We all feel sorry for you, mate. You never stood a chance with him. You want my advice? Prove him wrong. Chin up.
So, some decent advice. I'm just thinking it may have been from the wrong driver. It might have been put in the wrong way as well. If that was advice coming from Lucas Weber, it probably would have been put in a different way. If you guys remember, Lucas Weber was actually our teammate in F2, and he was just there to take care of us while Devin was there. But we have a phone call from Aiden's mom.
Hey, Ma. Hello, love. I saw the race and thought I'd give you a call.
And why's that?
just to say well done, like I always do.
Oh, right.
I saw what happened in the race with Casper. Can't believe he wasn't penalized. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
And Casper, what's he said about it?
Nothing. He wouldn't speak to me.
Well, maybe keep trying. It can't hurt to clear the air. Just remember what your grandmother always used to say. The fights that can't be won are the fights you fight the hardest.
I'm not even sure that makes sense.
Just whatever's going on, don't let it get to you. And call me later, okay?
Will do.
So, nice little conversation between Aiden and his very caring mother. Her checking in to make sure that her son, who just got punted off the track by his experienced teammate at 70 miles an hour, was okay. And also reassuring him that, yeah, it was bad, but you just beat your teammate after he punted you off the track and put you in P14. You came back and you beat him. Hold your head up high. Don't stoop down to Casper's level. And show him what you've got. Really, that's all she could say. And it's just great to see that. So anyways, guys, that will conclude today's video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can reach 100 subscribers by the end of this month. Smash that like button and turn on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss a video. And until then, take care, guys.